I mean, Foles is super cheap, so trading for him is not a bad idea because you get a quarterback that is not going to cost you $20 million, $18 million. I don't know what Foles' cap number is exactly, but like you said, it's cheap.
Yeah, him and Wentz combined are less than 18.
And you get a good
other
starter.
Guys. So, and also, Carson Wentz really can't start rehabbing until early summer. So around draft time, you don't know what how healthy Carson Wentz is. You pointed out he had an injury in college.
Yes.
Now he's got one in the pros. So, and I'm not saying that that's necessarily a trend, but as an NFL GM, you got to look at that stuff and think, do I really want to rely on this guy right now when I know what I have in Foles as my backup? And there is no quarterback controversy. If Wentz comes back and he is healthy, he is the starter.
Because I think Wentz is elite. Wentz was he was on pace, and there was talk to him being NFL MVP. Would he have won it? I don't know, but he was up there as a top 3 guy as far as that goes. And so, yeah, there's no quarterback controversy to me, especially since I think last season, I don't think Wentz had 33 touchdowns when he went down. He was on pace to probably get like 40 or 41. That dude is one of the best for me. I think he's an elite quarterback, and like I said, he's cheap. I don't know. I think I'm with you on that. I think Philly should hang on to both of them. And yep. I know as a Cowboys fan, you might want him to trade Foles, and Wentz isn't done rehabbing yet.
Yeah, but as a podcaster here, I've got to say that if I'm the GM in Philly, I'm holding on to both these guys unless somebody just offers me the whole cookie jar for Nick Foles.
And I don't know their free agent situation, but if the cool thing about hanging on to Foles and all that stuff is that you still potentially have the space if you need to re-sign any of those guys that are leaving. Because I think the way Philly looked and the way they've looked all year, I think you bring back everybody. I don't think there was anybody on that team where I thought, okay, he's done. Let him go, whatever.
You're going to have some changes because that's the nature of the beast. But, I don't see any major changes at key spots for them going into next year.
So,
the other kind of, I guess, the national media is making a big deal about it. Malcolm Butler only playing 1 snap in the Super Bowl, and that was a special teams snap. There's different reports out there, that he violated a minor team rule all the way to I've seen that he broke curfew Saturday night before the game and had marijuana on him when he came into the team hotel. Now, I don't know which one of those is true, but to me, if he broke a team rule, a violation of a team rule, I'm okay with Bill Belichick sitting him down. Who am I to question Bill Belichick? But if it was me in that situation, I don't know that I would have sat him for the whole game if it was a minor team rule.
Yeah, we talked about that too.
Maybe sit him for a quarter, maybe a half. I don't know. And then, again, I don't know how severe of a team rule it was. If it was, they're saying a minor team rule, or if he broke curfew Saturday night and came in with marijuana, which is illegal in Minnesota. Some states it has been legalized, but Minnesota, where they were, it's illegal, and it's against the NFL policy for players to smoke it. Okay, just like at your job, if you get popped, you're going to have a consequence. Then, yes, there should have been a consequence for him, if that's what it was. I don't know.
Right, so I'm really kind of on the same page with you on that. I think the thing is, at the same time, who are we to question Bill Belichick? The dude is a champion as a defensive coordinator with the Giants, and then also a champion as a head coach with the Patriots. Well, how can you question his judgment on that stuff? I was saying, if I was in his shoes, I'd do the same thing. I'd talk to him. I might not start him, but he's playing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like you had said earlier, that it was on every third down? Not every third down, but
I saw a stat like on a lot of the third, like I think it was 75-80% of the third downs, the Eagles went after his backup,
which is what you should do.
Yeah. As an offense. I don't know how many times I've been in a game personally as a coach, and I'm in the box and a kid on the opposing defense goes down, and I'm telling my offensive coordinator, hey, go after number 32 that just came in the game.
Yeah, because he's not. Well, yeah, he's not as good. Potentially, he hasn't played with the first team all week, or he's not as good. I mean, go after him. He's not as good.
There's a reason guys are starters and guys are backups at every level. Because guys are better, and you're going to start the guys that give you the best chance to win. And and Malcolm Butler had only missed. I don't think he missed any games all season as a starter.
Yeah, he was their starter all year.
But whatever that team, if it was a team rules violation, then I got to think Belichick was just, again, doing what he thought was best for his team and his organization.
Belichick's also I'd say he's a big picture guy. He's a long-term guy, move on to the next thing guy. So, he's basically, he's established. Like, in the future for him, don't do it. Don't violate team rules. Or guess what? You are not starting on the Super Bowl. And could they have won that game without Butler? Yeah. They lost. They didn't lose by 20. They lost by 8.
Mm-hmm.
So, could they have won that game? Yeah, for sure. Belichick's also I talked about next man up. He's a next man up guy. So, he thought, whatever.
Yep,
but at the same time, bringing Butler in doesn't keep the Eagles at 20. You know what I mean?
No. So, I don't think by any way that you can say that New England for sure wins that game if Malcolm Butler starts. Now, do they maybe give up, 8 or 10 less points? Maybe a few less yards? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe Philadelphia's game plan was, we don't care who's over there. We're just going to go after you. They were very aggressive, and I give Doug Peterson a lot of credit. He stayed aggressive the whole game. He was aggressive all year long in everything he did, and he stuck with that through the Super Bowl.
Yep. And that stat showed up during the Super Bowl where they said that the Philly was the team that goes for it the most on fourth down.
And he stuck to that, and great job to Philadelphia. I think they had a great game plan going in. I think their coaching staff, their players did a great job in winning the Super Bowl. And, once you're a champion, nobody can ever take that away.
Yeah, exactly. And, everything about what the Eagles did from their front office to the coaching, it's perfect. Great year.
Yep.
They took the number ones. They took first place, and they never let it go, and they just kept the pedal to the metal. There's nothing bad you can say about Philly. Their defense gave up 33, which is a little much for them, because I think Philly was the number 4 defense, right? But you're playing Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, so it's all good.
And your job as a defense is to give up one less point than your offense scores.
Yeah.
So, hey, it's the Super Bowl. They got it done. And another random stat is the NFC East is the first division in the NFL where all 4 teams have won a Super Bowl.
Is that right?
Yep, the first division. So
it's a tough division, man.
Yep.
It's been a tough division for years.
Obviously Dallas is on top of that with their 5. The Giants have 4, Washington 3, and then now Philly with 1.
It's crazy. It's a tough division. It's been a tough division for a long time. That has to do with everything. The mindset of the teams. That's why those teams get good ratings. They were talking about that on the first take. The Cowboys get great ratings. They're always aggressive. They always have they always have personnel. Always have a good team. All these teams are super aggressive in free agency. Even Washington with the Alex Smith trade, super aggressive. But I don't know. NFC East, that's where it's at. So, great Super Bowl for me.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed the game. Couple other storylines coming out of it. Both coordinators leaving New England. Okay, Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator, took the Lions head coaching job. His first head coaching experience will be in Detroit next season. Josh McDaniels took the Colts head job, and he was the head coach of the Denver Broncos for 2 seasons. Really didn't even complete the second season. He was fired 12 games into his second year with a record of 3-9.
So
he was total 11-17 as a head coach of the Denver Broncos with a 39% winning percentage.
Well, I'll say this. I think he's going to do a better job in Indy, especially since his quarterback stays healthy as Andrew Luck, which I love Andrew Luck. And then I think if Indy ends up drafting, what's that running back out of Penn State?
Saquon Barkley.
They draft him, say goodbye. AFC, AFC South? I would give it to, at this point in time, if they draft him, because I think that kid is the best. I think that kid is the best player in college football. I think me and you agree on that.
Yes.
Because me and you
Saquon Barkley, I think, is the best player.
Me and you are on the same page as far as like running game and stuff goes. We love the running game, and I think that dude's the best player in the draft.
I've said it before, franchise changer.
He's a total franchise changer. And you bring Andrew Luck in, like they'll have Andrew Luck, they have T.Y. Hilton, they'll have Barkley. I mean, like, dude, I like that a lot. You know, and then the thing is, McDaniels, he actually, his offenses in Denver were never bad. Like, even that year he was in there, I remember playing fantasy football, and Kyle Orton was killing it. And I think Kyle Orton, and then I can't remember who the receiver was that was doing really well with him. Was
it Marshall?
No, I think it was Jabbar Gaffney. I think Marshall had already moved on. I think it was Gaffney or it was Brandon. No, it was Brandon Lloyd. Brandon Lloyd was like the big guy that came out of nowhere. So, anyways, he did well with guys like that. I mean, I think he's going to do well. It also depends on the staff he gets. But I'll say this: if you had to tell me which franchise you think is going to do better next year, and I think we've already set this up, but Indy or Detroit, what do you got?
Personally, I'm going to go Indy. I think, depending on the health of Andrew Luck, obviously quarterback, big question mark. But if he's healthy, they're good. Matt Stafford in Detroit is really good too.
I like Stafford.
So I'm not saying that, Patricia's not going to win. But I think, McDaniel's first time as a head coach, he was a lot younger. He's 41 now. And, I think he learned some things from the way he treated the players to the way you run an organization. If he takes the things that went wrong in Denver and has learned from them and then applies that in Indy, then I think he can be a great head coach.
And also, it probably goes back to what we're talking about as far as the AFC being weaker than the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
He takes that Detroit job. I mean, I can't remember. What's the defensive coordinator's name? New England?
Oh, Patricia.
Matt Patricia. He takes the defensive coordinator's job, or he takes the job in Detroit. He's walking into a division that has Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, which if they ever give him anybody around him, they'll be really good.
Yeah.
Minnesota wins the division with a fantastic number one defense, and then Case Keenum. I mean, it's a tough situation to go into. McDaniels gets Indy, and he goes into a division that has Tennessee, who has a new head coach with Vrabel, and then he goes with Houston, who Houston is pretty much a perennial 7 to 9 game winner, pretty much.
Which
it'd be different
Deshaun Watson doesn't get hurt last year. I think they win a lot more games, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And then who's the other team in that division?
Jacksonville.
Okay, never mind. Okay, Jacksonville's a little tough.
Yeah.
So that division's good. It's not as good as the NFC North is, to me.
No, I mean, like you said, Patricia's walking into a situation where he's got to play Aaron Rodgers twice a year.
He's got to play Aaron Rodgers, and he's also got to play that Minnesota defense twice a year. So, I mean, it's going to be – that's a tougher spot to go into. And maybe the one good thing about him walking into that is maybe there's less expectation, so it'll give him a little more time. Because McDaniels goes to Indy, and with Andrew Luck coming back healthy, the Indy fans are going to be like,
they want to win.
It's time to win the division.
Yeah.
Because if Andrew Luck is healthy, Andrew Luck's great, healthy.
Yes.
Keyword healthy. So we'll see what goes on here. So yeah, that's that. I think New England's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
I think he's lost Charlie Weiss and Romeo Crennel, and he moved on just fine. So
well, it was 10 years in between the time that he won another Super Bowl.
Is that right?
After Weiss and Crennel left, it was 10 years before they went. They went 2 more times, lost both of them, but. Still, he still went. I mean, I think New England, again, will be fine. They're bringing in Greg Schiano, who's been at Ohio State the last couple of years as defensive coordinator.
Oh, okay.
And, has some head coaching experience, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
So